I mean, it's the mind of a maniac. If you really think about it, it's a mind of a maniac. Now, listen, I got to move on here because we have a guest that's coming on the show. They are a rock band. I listened to 2 of the tracks that they sent. I love their sound. I'm on their website right now. Who we're going to be talking to is Jordan Moed. I believe it's Moed or Moed. I don't know. It could be Moed. Anyway, just call him Jordan for now. He is going to give us the 411 on the band, on what they're doing. I believe I'm looking on their website that they're touring, and it looks like, it looks like they got something going on. They contacted me on Instagram. They wanted to come on the show. Let's fucking do this, man. I hope that these people, the people that I always interview, make it. Because it's only going to help my show. And when I see people like this, the only thing I don't like is I'm on Jordan's page. Like they have their own, each member has a bio. I don't like the way that it looks. So here, go on their website. What is it here? It's www.jordanmoed, MOED.com is the site that this took me to. I can't tell his name. It doesn't blend right. The red on the background. But anyway, maybe I'll talk to him about it. Maybe I won't. I want to help people. I think that this is an injustice here. But I love the background photography that he has. I just think his name gets lost in it. Anyway, let's give him a call. Jordan. Oh, God. Here we go. 609 area code. That's Jersey. I would never, I never thought I'd ever be in a band for a second. I mean, it's got to be the best thing ever, right? To be in a band, you guys all jamming together, doing your thing. But, never.
Hello?
Jordan, it's Joe from the Joe Cozzo Show.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
What's going on, brother?
A whole lot of nothing. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in there. I'm talking to Jordan from Suspicious Minds, the band. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you guys from? Where did you guys originate? Are you guys all from, known each other when you were younger?
Sure, yeah. No, our story is really kind of unique. So basically the idea of this band started about 3 years ago in an original formation in Freehold, New Jersey, and we were under a different name. It was me and lead vocalist Francis James. And basically we spent like the last 3 or 4 years kind of working on a blueprint to make the most successful band we possibly can out of what we were doing. Through that time, we ran through a lot of band members and just people who just really weren't committed. And we were just kind of like on the search for the right guys to really kind of complete the puzzle, so to speak. During this time, I ended up going to school out in Orlando at Full Sail University. And during this time, I actually met our bassist, Dan, there. He was in a class, I believe, 2 months ahead of me in the program. And me and him kind of just connected randomly just because he's wearing a Green Bay Packers hat, and we're both like diehard Packers fans. And literally, I'm not kidding, it was just like that.
Now, I wanted to ask you though. So here you are, you're in New Jersey, and you said you were with the lead vocalist, and his name is Francis. Now, did you kind of give up on your dreams a little bit there by saying, "Hey, listen, my man, we've been trying to do this. Hasn't been really working out. We're trying to find other band members. I'm going to go on a little bit of a hiatus and go down to school in Florida." I mean, was that a tough decision for you?
It was really difficult because, it did feel like I was putting my dreams on hold when I did this. But in retrospect, me and Frank talked about it for a while, and we kind of ultimately agreed that this actually would benefit us more than really put us back, because at the end of the day, we can now do almost all of our recordings, mixing, mastering, including marketing and stuff for records, all in-house. So we really are actually saving money in the process and being able to get the top quality product. And our bass player, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. So, and basically the best part is our bass player is us, as well as an audio and mixing engineer. So having an extra ears on perspective as well has also been great.
What instrument do you play?
So I'm the lead guitar player, as well as the co-songwriter and the secondary vocalist in the band.
So you said the co-writer? on some of the
Yes.
songs. Where do you get all your, when you were writing a song and everything, where do you get your inspiration from?
Yeah, so for me, it kind of comes from anywhere. I know every songwriter has their processes and stuff like that. For me, it really kind of just stems from either like a really cool title I think of, or a really cool line I hear in a song, or maybe it's just something personally I'm going through that I'm like, man, there's got to be somebody else out there who's going through this as well. And, it kind of just stems from those type of situations, in a sense, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. It makes sense. Hey, listen, I think it's all personal, how you, creative process and how you go about writing a song. I wanted to ask you some more questions, though, in regards to the band itself. You down to Florida, you meet the bass player. How was that now, whole process? What do? You bring him back up to meet Frank? Do you guys all jam together? Do you see like videos of him? Or do you even say to him, hey, listen, let's, maybe tonight we'll get a drink or something like that, and I can see how you play. How does that all work out?
Yeah, so it was such a weird process, but it all flowed so smoothly. Like we had a guy that we were working with for a while, and he ended up leaving for just personal reasons. And once we picked him up, he kind of just fit the mold immediately. He kind of knew what we were going for, and yeah, we did. We did end up having a jam session with him just to kind of see how things would run. But how we kind of run things, it's kind of weird, and it's kind of something that we're working out, because I believe it's kind of something rather new that a lot of bands are not doing, is we're kind of doing like a long-distance band, like basically like when we do like band rehearsals and stuff like that, it's all done basically online. So we have a simple connection server that we all log on to, and from there we have we have sessions that are uniquely set up to metronomes, and it's all syncopated, and basically we rehearse online. And we'll write online, and we do it all together with no lag time, which is kind of crazy that the technology is there to do that now.
No, it is. But, my concern would be, I think that's great because you guys are putting in the effort, you guys are doing it. But I guess in my own personal feeling would be, you still don't get that organic feeling. You're looking at them, being in the room, hearing things, how you would hear them while you're all together. Do you think that could possibly be the case, or, is that something that you guys don't even think about?
That's a good question. Personally, we've had, that was one issue that rose in the beginning of the band, was like, okay, how do we have camaraderie and chemistry when, you're playing through a webcam, and the thought process was like, well, at least we still now, what we're doing now is basically we now take trips to come see each other. So, we have a band expense and stuff like that, where basically Frank will say that he'll fly out to me, because I currently live in Nashville. So Frank and Dan will come fly out to me, and we'll have writing sessions, and we'll do stuff like that, and kind of just it's a little more slow process, but at the end of the day, we still get the job done and get what we need to get done, and it's like I said, once again, it's a slow process, but it's a work in progress.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I am 25.
25, perfect age. 25 is a perfect age. And is everyone else, in the band close to your age?
Yep. Frank is 27. Pete, our other guitar player who lives out in New York, the New York area, he's 24. And then Dan's 26 as well.
Is Dan the drummer?
Dan's the bassist. Our drummer is currently filled as just a session drummer. We haven't found our permanent guy just yet.
That's interesting, too. That must be exciting to, do that audition process, but also nerve-wracking as well, because you just, you don't have someone that you're gelling with.
And that's the thing, too. And we've been kind of picky on it, and I know that we probably shouldn't be as picky as we've been. It's just we want to find our guy. At the end of the day, there's a million amazing drummers out there, and we want to find the guy who understands what we're doing and really gels with that. We just don't want to throw some other guy behind the kit and just be like, wow, he's like the weak link, so to speak.
Do you ever? First of all, I would assume that you guys have other jobs, right? You guys are making a living to pay your bills.
Yeah. So yeah, like for myself, I'm also an audio engineer in Nashville at a recording studio.
So you're doing things in the business, which I guess that that's perfect, because I think it would be more difficult if you're doing real estate, for 9 hours a day, and then all of a sudden you're coming in, because you're still working, you still got your ear to the, to the board and doing things, and you're staying in the business. But When I hear a story like this, and I only speak from experience, I used to try to do acting, but I'm also an attorney, right? And I could actually say what I'm doing right now, the podcast, and I'm also an attorney. The podcast right now is not paying my bills. Hopefully one day it will be. But
Yeah.
I still have to put a suit on every day. I still have to go to court. I still have to meet clients, and I still have to do things. And I always sit back and I say, I wish I didn't have to do this because I could put all of my efforts into the podcast, which then makes me think, if I was able to do that, and if I could just commit to that, the process or my journey becoming, a huge podcast would speed up. Does that ever happen with you in regard to the band, that you wish that maybe all of you guys could just say, hey, let's dedicate maybe 6 months of our lives, all live together, all put everything we have into this and see what happens? Do you ever think like that?
Yeah, that's actually a plan that's actually something we are talking about now. It's at that point where we're kind of going through the details of that. Like right now, I know we're talking about having the other guys kind of perhaps even move out to the Nashville area or even up towards Frank in the New York area. And personally, I mean, like, that is kind of the goal because, it does suck because, like you said, like, you'd love to devote 100% of your time to what you love doing. And, life decides that you're only allowed to have it 30% of the time or whatever it is. But for me, I think what ultimately keeps me going is going, okay, well, one day I won't have to do this anymore. One day I won't have to wake up at 6 in the morning and be at a studio at 9 and just record bands all day. I'll be recording myself, writing my own music, touring, this and that, as much as I do love recording other people.
No, yeah,
just,
no,
yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But then what happens is, and it happened with me, life gets in the way. And then other things start happening and everybody else's lives start getting in the way. Next thing you know, maybe someone has a kid and now it's even more difficult for them to leave because of the kid being there. It's just, I think you guys, from what it sounds like, you guys all have this one common goal. And, you sent me a couple of your songs, which I want to play in a few here. But I just think that if you, and just again, speaking from experience, if you really put your all into it, you just leave nothing on the table and you don't have any regrets. And, I go through this every day, and that's why I wanted to see what your perspective of that was.
No, absolutely, yeah. And like I said, we're taking this as far as we possibly can take it because we actually had a band member who actually had a kid about 2-3 years ago. And he was like the guy who founded the band with us. And, he ended up leaving music indefinitely and quit and left us in a really hard spot. But, in generality, that was kind of the one thing that we said when we were going to revamp this project and start something new was like, okay, we need to find the people who get what we're doing, are committed to making this happen, and have no problem going, okay, if the opportunity's here, we got to be here tomorrow.
Yes.
Type of deal, and my mentality is, never expect anything, but always shoot for everything, So for me, it's like, okay, this is the goal. Let's push as hard as we possibly can until we can't no more, type of deal. And for me, that's all we can do.
No, 100%. I agree with you 100%. Again, I'm talking to Jordan from Suspicious Minds. You can follow them on Instagram. The Instagram is Be Suspicious, correct?
That's it.
Be Suspicious, and I would assume here yours is at Guitar Moed. Is that it?
Mode, but yes.
Mode. Okay, there you go. Moed.
Yeah.
Those that want to follow you
does
individually. Everybody does that. Good. I don't feel like an asshole then. Let's get into one of the songs here. One of the ones that you sent me is Room Service. Tell me a little bit about this song.
So this one has such a funny origin. So I basically wrote this in the shower one day. I had a Spotify playlist on, and as anyone who knows me knows, I'm a diehard Elvis Presley fan, big time Elvis freak. And I was jamming out to one of his, I think it was like his first album, I believe, and just something hit me, and I just started singing this melody in the shower. And literally, I hopped out of the shower as fast as I could just to write it down. And then 5 minutes later, I have the entire song in front of me.
Tell me about the melody.
Oh my gosh.
Let me hear the melody. Let me hear a little bit of the melody. You're in the shower. Here you are. If you could recall, what would that melody sound like?
So for me, I'm sitting there just going I'm like, man, I think it was like some Elvis song that really inspired me. And I'm sitting here going like, man, I love how those drums kind of hit like that. And I'm like, da 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 da, and then all of a sudden, 2 seconds later, I'm like, room 609. Like, I don't know where these lines are coming from. And I'm like, the scene of the crime. And I'm like, and I keep doing it. And then I'm like, these lines are way too good. I'm like, okay. And then I hopped out of the shower, almost slipped and fell.
Oh, I know all about it. You grab your phone, you put it in your notes, you're doing everything you can.
Oh, yeah. It was like, please don't forget this. Please don't forget this. And then, like, literally, I brought it up to the guys the next day, and we had the whole arrangement done in about an hour. And we all were just so stoked about it. And, this actually landed our first deal with the record label, was this one.
And now, when you say that you guys did this in an hour, this is all over. Everybody's in a remote site. You're doing this, like you said, you're on one network, one server, and you guys are able to do this in an hour?
Yes, in theory, yes. This one was actually recorded with all of us together.
Okay, but first you guys were playing it out, individually, or then were you guys all together at once, and then that's how you banged it out in an hour?
So basically, I had like an idea of the song, and I brought it to the guys. I'm like, this is what I'm kind of thinking with what we have for a new song idea, and they all absolutely loved it. We hopped into a rehearsal session, and just banged it out, just played it as much as we possibly could, worked the kinks out, and then we had a demo of it within, like I said, like about an hour, and we're all just going, yeah, this is awesome. Like, we love it's super hard hitting, it's adrenaline filled, it's high energy. It was like how could you not want to get up and dance to it?
Do you get nervous when you have to present this to the band? Here is your thing. You got this in the shower. You're loving it. You put some time into it. Is there any type of, nerve feeling going in, thinking that it might be rejected?
I've had songs get rejected by the band, and like each band member's had certain things that we go, yeah, that's not really what we're going for. But, we kind of try to keep it like a judgment-free zone because, at the end of the day, you're writing what your heart is, your heart's speaking to you. And, how are we supposed to look at each other and go, yeah, that's just not a good song, but maybe it is a good song, it just maybe doesn't fit what we're doing, type of mentality.
Yeah.
For me,
I can see where you're coming from with that. What about now this is your song, right? And let's just say you guys are playing at a bar, or you guys are rehearsing, or you guys are putting it on, on the record, and it's your song. Do you play, is there a little bit different, excitement, adrenaline, because you know that you wrote this song as, say, compared to, say, Frank writing a song? And I'm not saying that Frank's song would be any worse, but this is your baby.
Oh, yeah. For me, see, that one would be like Hampton Jake, the other one I sent you. It's kind of like that. Like, that is like the one that I take a lot of pride in, and I've been like, it's, in my opinion, the best song I've ever written. And, every time we go out and play it, I kind of get this, like, for me, being on stage is my home. Like, that's where I'm the most happiest. It's where I feel like I'm the most me, and I get to, like, just, do me.
Yeah, no.
And when we do Hampton Jake, or we do Room Service, or say we do like a ballad that we have, or anything in general, I'm just always amped, no matter what.
Yeah, I could imagine being in a band.
Excited.
Just being in a band in itself is something like. It's people dream of stuff like this.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I've dreamed since I was 8.
I could imagine. All right, listen, let's get right into this song here. Again, this is Room Service, and it is by Suspicious Minds. Here we go.
Hello, front desk.
Did you get 609? Now that, for me, is 609 because you're from New Jersey and that's your area code?
Yes, it is. I'm originally from Long Beach Island area, New Jersey. So it'd be a nice little. It's like my nice little like tidbit, like shout out.
I got to tell you, there's a combination. First of all, I love. Is that the riff? Is that your riff that you're doing with the guitar there?
That was the main riff that started the whole song up.
Yeah. No, I love it. And also, whoever was playing the drums there too, sounds like has done an excellent job as well.
Yeah, that was our good buddy Zach Dubois from the metal band Voodoo Prophet. He was in the band for a few years before he left to go pursue other things, and he did drumming for most of the album, and he just killed it. He's still like my favorite drummer out there today.
Yeah, no, he did a great job. The music also has a little bit of Guns N' Roses to it, but also some 50s, 60s doo-wop, it sounds like. If I'm not mistaken with my ears listening to it, is that something that, is that the sound that you're going for?
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. We like to describe our sound as heavy swing rock and roll.
Without a doubt. Yeah, no, I love it. Let's get right into the second song here. This is Hampton Jig. Tell us a little bit about this.
So this one has this is another really funny story. So Hampton Jig came about when I was in Charleston, South Carolina. North Carolina. I'm not entirely sure north or south either way, but I was in Charleston, and basically I was taking this. I guess we were on like a family vacation, and we were taking this like random ghost tour. I'm already a few beers deep at this point, so I'm just kind of wandering around, and basically this guy, the tour guide, just talking. None of it's just making any sense. No one's really understanding what he's talking about. Then out of nowhere, we get up to this prison. And he goes, yeah, this is where a lot of the, top, criminals of the time would go before they met the Hampton Jig. And I sat there, and I'm the only one who picks up on this for some reason, and I still don't get why I picked up on this. So I happened to go, and I'm like, yo, what's the Hampton Jig? And basically, he was like, oh, yeah, it's just a southern slang term for the movements that your body does when you get hung. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, really? So I went and researched it, and I was like, "Wow, no kidding! This is a real thing." So how do we turn that? How did I turn that into a song and not make it morbid? Is the real funny part. So basically, I'm like, I don't know, for some reason I was fascinated by this title, and no matter what, I couldn't get it out of my head. And when I got back home, like 3 or 4 days later, I was sitting there and I was just looking at the paper, and I had the title. I'm like, I could turn this into something. I know I can. And then out of nowhere, something just hit me. I don't remember what it was or how it happened. Something just hit me, and I just started writing. And basically, the song came about just being about, just the reality of what life is like in today's world. How people are so glued to their smartphones. People just, define their lives based off of Instagram profiles, and it's all about who you are on there and not who you are in real life. And basically that's what I wrote about, like just the reality of this world basically killing themselves. Not really killing themselves, but in a sense killing the morality of life in a sense.
Well, almost as if, life, what it used to be, is being sold off. I guess you could say 15, 20 years ago, there wasn't so much as instant gratification that you have now with Instagram, with Facebook, with Snapchat and stuff like that, almost as if that life is dead.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, it's just it's so weird because sometimes what I love to do is I'd sit down and look around and people watch, and the amount of people that just sit on their phones for the time that you start watching them from the time they leave, they don't pick their head up. I'm like you could literally have an alien invasion happen, and I think people would still be sitting on Facebook watching the live stream.
There's a lot of pros and cons to that, though, and I want to ask you about that because here you are, you're 25 years old, I'm 45 years old. So when I was starting, like I said, I was doing acting, or even if I was 25 years old doing podcasting right now, I sit and I think to myself, would it be easier for me to get noticed and be able to do things if there was not social media? Because I would feel like there's less competition because now everyone is able to get their music out there. However, if you do it right, I don't know if you listen to any motivational people, this guy named Gary V, and he's he's all over Instagram, and what he does is he talks about amping up your Instagram game to get your brand out there. And being 25 years old, and you just made that statement about everybody's glued to their phone, but don't you think that in today's age, it's actually an advantage for you that you're able to get this out there, you're able to get your name out there, and you could do so all with just that cell phone in your hand?
I think, you hit the nail on the head. I think social media in general is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing for people like you and me, where we can really we can touch our fan bases and our markets from the palm of our hands. We don't have to go out and really do much of the rustic work anymore. But at the end of the day, I feel like we also can't all rely on just social media, because at the end of the day, people still love doing the face-to-face stuff, and people still want to see you, they want to understand you, and I mean, like I said, for us coming out, we've been strictly a online presence band, because we've been so busy working on this record, which comes out next week, and then we're touring. We're doing our first tour of the summer. It's like, you almost do have to rely on social media to kind of get your name out there, which, like I said, is a great thing. But at the same time, I feel like as well, it can also be withered away and gone by the press of a button.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that album that you're talking about, what's the name of that album?
So it's our first album. It's called Electric Elvis, and it comes out next Friday, March 3rd.
You are an Elvis fanatic. Let's get
I
in.
am.
Let's get into this second song here. Again, I'm with Suspicious Minds, the lead guitarist Jordan, and this is Hampton Jig. Let's see what we got.
Put your heels to your toe, head to your side. 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 Head to your toe, head to your side. Head to your toe, head to your side. That's the one you're the Hampton Jig.
Yeah, walk around and all I say, nothing but the family. Kids talking with Catholic tones, they're glued to their smartphones. If you take a look around, my friend, you'll see what's going down. Gun in hand, and pull the trigger, hands to the toe and do the Hampton Jig. Yeah.
I got to tell you, and I'm gonna be truthful with you. You guys got a great sound. The only thing that makes me nervous because it's great. If you guys were in the '90s, I think you guys would blow up. Are you a little nervous that this type of rock, and you guys have a unique rock because you have that doo-wop in the background, but do you get a little nervous about playing on the radio play at all, because you don't really see rock bands anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the awesome comments. For me, I don't get worried, just because I know for the fact that, at the end of the day, we're going to draw people who like what we do, and believe it or not, it hasn't been much of an issue for us getting radio play, which is really surprising. Next week, actually, during the release weekend, we're doing a listening party on 102.9 The Buzz, which is Nashville's biggest rock radio station. And
hold on a second. Hold on. That's big news. That's great. Are you guys? I mean, how excited are you? For having that? Do you guys have a whole night set up and everything?
Oh yeah, we're doing a big deal. It was such a weird run in how I met the DJ, but basically he was so amped about getting us in and interviewing us and getting the record play on the air and stuff like that. And we're like, yeah, we got to do it. And basically, like I said, it was that whole mentality of, hey guys, can you guys be here in Nashville next week? Get a flight.
Can you? That's more like a demand. That is a demand. You guys better get here to Nashville on a flight, because this is the jump off. This is things like this that makes it happen like that. And you guys, and listen, by no means am I saying that I don't think something like that could happen, but you turn on today's hits, right? you don't really hear that rock kind of music like you did, say, in the 90s with Pearl Jam, with Guns N' Roses, with Nirvana. But I do like the twist that you have, because you do have this unique sound, even though here come the drums and here comes the heavy, riff with the guitar. Then all of a sudden you guys mix it up and you hear that little doo-wop in the background, which I love.
I agree. Yeah, and for me, I've always said, I've been screaming about this lately. Oh, I feel like a broken record, but I really feel like it's time that rock and roll really gets its next renaissance era. I feel like everyone's been so glued to the classic rock of, yesteryear, which is awesome. I'm a huge, big-time classic rock fan. But, at the end of the day, these guys are getting older. They're not getting any younger, and I just feel like there has been a lack of support for the new guys coming up. A lot of people sit here and say, well, it's not like it was made like it used to be. I'm like, yeah, but at the end of the day, we're not getting paid like we used to be either.
And not only that, though, how many times can I listen to the same old tracks, the same old bands over and over and over again without any new material? And here you guys come, like you just said. And I think that that statement that you said, the next renaissance for rock bands, I think it is now. I think you guys are peaking right at the right time. And, I love everything that you guys are doing. I could hear just by you talking that this is your passion and this is exactly what you want to do. You wake up, you think about the band, you get the band together, you're out there, you're hustling, you're doing your thing, you're on social media, which I want to ask you, isn't it like a second job? Having to put everything out there, having to do everything. It's crazy, right?
Oh, my gosh. Some of our conversations are hilarious because I basically run and manage most of our social media almost indefinitely now, and I'm always screaming to the guys. I'm like, oh my gosh, I spend 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day on social media, and this, and this, and they're like, well, we'll help you. And I'm like, no, I got to do it.
Yeah, I got it, because if I let you do it, it's not going to be right. I need the right hashtags. I have to have the right this and the right that. I didn't take a look too much on your Instagram, but do you guys do anything? And I feel like if I was an artist, I would be able to, I would love to do this, is play maybe 30-second, or I think Instagram has up to a minute videos on, and just do little clips of you guys jamming and you guys rehearsing and stuff like that. Do you guys do things like that on social media?
Oh yeah, when we're together, we try to make social media events out as much as possible, because at the end of the day, we know our time is limited sometimes with things, so it's okay, get as much pictures and videos as we can, and we can just post them and boost them over time. And it really has worked. In the beginning it was a little rough because we had a couple guys who weren't so keen on the whole social media thing, but now when the train's rolling, it's just okay, here's a new photo, here's this or that, here's a new video, here's me jamming out, here's us jamming out last night, and it's just become a group effort, and it's really cool. It almost doesn't feel like work anymore because, they make it so easy, which is ultimately what you want in a band.
Tell me about the touring. Is that something that you're really excited about? Is that something that I don't know if I would get nervous. I don't know how I would be, because being in a band was never a reality for me. It was always just, dreams, and, imagine if I was this, and imagine if I was that. But then touring is like a whole different animal, and is that something that you guys are looking forward to do? And, where is your first stop?
So yeah, no. Honestly, touring is really the reason why I got into music, besides for the love of writing music. I love performing, and we're all I can talk for the whole band. We're all super excited to hit the road and finally get out there and start really grinding this out. For us, we're not worried about okay, this is the road. Good luck. We're no, we see the road as the starting line. Get us we're almost get us to that line, and we will take it as far as we can go.
Yeah.
We just recently signed a deal with Third Eye Booking Agency, and they're currently booking our first tour right now. There's no dates in line, but I can tell you this, and it's probably all I can tell at the moment, just because I don't know much more on the information, but I know we're looking to do, it's going to be in July of this year, and we're starting out, I believe, in New York City and working all the way down to Florida.
Oh, listen, when you're in New York City, you definitely hit me up. I'll definitely, with my girlfriend, come see you. We would love, this is the juice right here. Seeing you guys doing something. I love the sound. I love everything that you have going on. And again, we're with Suspicious Minds, the band. I'm talking right now to Jordan. He is the lead guitar, and you can follow him on Instagram at Guitar Moed, and that is Moed. And you can follow them on Instagram. It's Be Suspicious. Jordan, listen, I love having you on. I love everything that you guys got going on. When that album drops, I would love for you to come back on and we'll promote it again.
That would be awesome, man. Thank you for your time. I absolutely love the show too, man. And definitely come on out. We'll buy you a ticket. We'll buy you guys drinks or whatever.
Absolutely. I'd love to come and support you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, thank you again for your time.
You got it. Take care, brother.
All right, peace.
Yo, this DJ Fink, and when I'm not on the 1 and 2s, I'm listening to the Joe Cozzo Show.
All right, so that's my man, Jordan Moed. Jordan Moed from the band Suspicious Minds. Again, their website is besuspicious.net. I wanted to ask them, and I forgot, if they were mad that they couldn't get the .com.